What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button because that's the most important thing you can do for me on this channel. What it does, that help to make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel will indeed get the notifications, and it also helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Secondly, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you've been ghost watching this channel for quite some time now, please do me a favor and yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to inform them on this news and information. And yes, that does help to give me a slight boost in the YouTube algorithm also. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we are headed to Virginia. I don't think I've been to Virginia before as it pertains to covering news and especially the migrant crisis, given the fact that Virginia isn't even a sanctuary state. So we haven't touched bases here before, but we are now because I have a very tragic story to share with you guys today. It is a very sad story, and I challenge you all as we're going through this article, I challenge you to not get upset. I challenge you to not get mad because a young woman has lost her life to an illegal immigrant who was driving like a reckless fool. And this was somebody who had a deportation order on him and has had multiple run-ins with the law while having a deportation order on him, but he was still allowed to just simply exist, to the point to where we are now, where he took the life of a beautiful young woman with a thriving, promising future, who was college bound, or she was already in college, I should say, and just had a bright future ahead of her. But now that was tragically taken away from her. Let's get into this article here. It is titled "Previously Deported Illegal Immigrant Known to Cops Allegedly Killed Virginia College Student in Nightmare Car Crash." Let's get into it. The article reads as such: "An illegal immigrant with numerous run-ins with the law was ordered deported 6 years ago, stands accused of killing a young Virginia college student in a horrific car crash, according to a local report. Honduran national Elvis Jamir Cruz-Ferrera, 18, is charged with involuntary manslaughter in connection with the February death of Old Dominion University student Lauryn Ni'Kole Leonard, 19 years old, according to the Virginia Pilot. She was definitely one of a kind," said Leonard's brother Eric Hargrove, 31, "a loving person, friendly, sociable, beautiful inside and out." And as you can see in this photo here, she was definitely a beautiful young woman, like I said, who had a promising future ahead of her. But this douche right here took that from her, right? He took that from her. The article continues to read, "The night Leonard was killed, she was driving her gray 2000 Toyota Solara on Interstate 664 in Chesapeake back to her apartment in Norfolk around 6 p.m. when Cruz-Ferrera smashed into her, causing both drivers to lose control and hit the guardrails, according to the outlet. Leonard was killed immediately upon impact, and despite Cruz-Ferrera red 2008 Pontiac Vibe overturning, he survived the crash and was treated at a local hospital with minor injuries." Of course. Of course. Isn't that how it always is? That's something to me that is so aggravating and so irritating. And we see this kind of stuff and hear about it all the time, particularly with drunk drivers. In this particular case, Ferreira, whatever his name is, wasn't drunk. At least they didn't say that he was drunk. That wasn't something that was, verified or validated. But in so many cases, you hear about drunk driving incidents, right? Where the drunk driver survives, but the victim who was just minding their business, they're the ones that lose their life. That's so aggravating to hear. That is so aggravating to hear because it should have been, the other way around, honestly. It should have been the other way around. But let's continue on with this article. Let's get into it because even though I've read this already, it makes me very irritated just hearing this story. And it gets more and more aggravating the more we get into this. An immigration judge had ordered Cruz-Ferrera's deportation back in 2018 during a hearing he didn't appear for. After he crossed the border illegally, Immigration and Customs ICE enforcement said Cruz-Ferrera had several run-ins with the cops over traffic stops in the months leading up to the crash, according to the local outlet. However, authorities didn't investigate his immigration status at the time, and that is completely ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous, and there should be some sort of federal law change, something that changes, which states that if you have a run-in with the law, you automatically get checked for your legal status. So therefore, you can't say, "Oh, it's racist, and you're only looking for the Hispanics, and you're only checking us." No, no, no. It should be automatic. The moment you have a run-in with the law, the moment you're arrested, you're brought down to the station, you have any sort of trouble with the police, when they're running your information, a automatic citizenship check should be a part of that as well. That way you can avoid all the foolishness surrounding fake racism around it. Now, people will still try to say, "Oh, you're targeting Hispanics," but it's not true, because if it applies for everybody, then what's the issue, right? It should apply for me just like it should apply for you, and it should apply to this guy Ferrera, right, who caused this crazy accident that you're looking at on your scene right now. Look at it. This is horrific. And Ferrera's car is the car that's in the red that's flipped over. And he survived. The young woman, Lauryn Ni'Kole Leonard, didn't. She didn't. Let's continue on. In November of last year, Cruz-Ferrera was caught driving recklessly, doing 85 miles an hour in a 60-mile-an-hour zone near where the fatal crash occurred. He was also twice cited for driving without a license. So this guy is just a delinquent. He's just a delinquent who was allowed to just exist despite having a deportation order on him since 2018. Hargrove said his sister might still be alive if Cruz-Ferrera had been deported. She would be. That's just the fact of the matter. "I think it's crazy," Hargrove said. "Like, how come nobody looked into it? She's minding her own business, and now you come out of nowhere and just turn my life upside down." Now, this is very interesting, this statement that her brother made here. And I'm not mad at him for it. I get it. But let's just take a moment to unpack this. I don't want to say anything that sounds like far right or far left, he said. But I would just say that it's a possibility that this wouldn't have happened if the deportation happened when it was supposed to. I think it's completely ridiculous. And I'm not mad at the brother for saying this, because I get it, in the politically charged environment where, whatever you say, especially he's speaking to the press, it'll get just chewed up into bits, and people are screaming at you one way or another. They're telling you either you're stupid or either you're the smartest person in the world, right? But think about this for a moment. He tried to couch that statement that he knew he was going to say by saying, "I don't want to sound too far right or too far left." He knows what he really meant to say was, "I don't want to sound too far right," right? But what made him sound too far right? Him stating the obvious, that his sister would still be here had the deportation happen when it was supposed to. I had a conversation, with a good friend of mine's, and in our conversation, we were talking, and he stated that the left is so far left that when you say something that's common sense, like the deportation should have happened when it was supposed to, saying something that is common sense makes you sound far right. And all you're doing is making a common sense statement. And then what that really begs to ask is, or I should say, the question that begs now, at least to me, it really makes me think about it. Is it that the left is so far left that it makes common sense seem like you're on the right? Or has common sense always been the right? I don't know. I'll let you guys discuss that in the comment section. I'll let you guys talk that and work that out. The article continues to read in closing. Hours before Leonard was killed, she was texting her family about the job she had just landed to conduct new student orientations on campus. She was just texting her family about how excited she was with her future, things and plans that she had moving forward with her life that was cut short by a douche who should have been deported many years ago. But you can't say that because it makes you sound too far to the right. Anyways, with all that being said, that does it for today's news. So please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video out on your social media platforms. And also don't forget to follow me on Telegram and Rumble. Both the Telegram and Rumble link will be pinned in the comment section below. And it is also in the description box below. Please do that. Follow me on Telegram and Rumble. That is extremely important. Thank you all for your time. And until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.